as Iran becomes more deeply mired in the crises currently ravaging the Middle East. Tehran is eyeing greater cooperation with a fellow majority Shiite Muslim neighbor it has long accused of striking and too close for comfort ties with Tehran's top foe. The Iranian gambit, improving relations with Azerbaijan despite Baku's growing partnership with Israel, would mark a significant shift in a region at the crossroads of continents and competing interests of major conflicting powers, including Russia and the United States. But deep-rooted frictions within the Caucasus and abroad still threaten to reignite rivalries and disturb the burgeoning, fragile partnership between Baku and Tehran. Just days after the war between Israel and the Palestinian Hamas movement in Gaza, Iran signed a landmark agreement with Azerbaijan to establish a transit route known as the Aras Corridor, allowing Azerbaijan access to its exclave province of Nakhchivan via Iranian territory, seemingly a very friendly move. The deal was viewed as a crucial step toward preventing a more controversial option known as the Zangezur Corridor, which would see Azerbaijan attempt to force a path through rival Armenia. Already, the two South Caucasus rivals have clashed for decades over and for the separatist Nagorno-Karabakh region, home for more than 3 decades to the Armenia-aligned yet internationally unrecognized Artsakh Republic, which was dismantled last September amid decisive Azerbaijani victories, aided by both Israel and Turkey. Iran, traditionally favoring Armenia, has moved to recalibrate its approach amid the ongoing effort to improve relations with Baku in the wake of a deadly attack against Azerbaijan's embassy in Tehran last year. Iranian Foreign Minister Hossein Amir Abdullahian went as far as to declare a new chapter in the relationship between Tehran and Azerbaijan during a meeting last Tuesday with his Azerbaijani Foreign Minister Ceyhan Bayramov. Avdaliani, a professor at European University in Tbilisi, Georgia, told the press, "This does not mean that the Islamic Republic is happy with the power balance in the South Caucasus. The basic driver of the Azerbaijan-Iran reconciliation is a mutual desire for regional stability, geopolitical goodwill, and economic prospects, particularly the proposed international North-South transport corridor that envisions an ambitious rail route tying India to Russia, with Azerbaijan and Iran in between." According to Avdaliani, Iran and Azerbaijan are now both interested in rapprochement because their trade grows. The operation of the international North-South transport corridor is expanding, and Baku seems to have toned down its desires to open the Zangezur Corridor. Avdaliani told, "It fits into Iran's foreign policy strategy when Tehran is trying to normalize its traditionally complicated relations." Avdaliani added, "From its side, Azerbaijan cannot afford having a troubled state of affairs with Tehran, because the country still has to reach a peace deal with Armenia and is presently criticized by the Western Bloc. Since the fall of Nagorno-Karabakh, if realized, the 4,500-mile-long INSC could provide Iran and Russia with a sanctions-proof path to global trade, at a time when both nations have faced growing economic restrictions imposed by White House. Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi has set out to mend frayed ties across his nation's borders, from the Caucasus to the Middle East, including through the China broker deal to resume friendly relations with Saudi Arabia. But underlying tensions continue to haunt the dynamic between Baku and Tehran, particularly the quietly growing relations between Azerbaijan and Israel that have intensified since the latest full-scale war over Nagorno-Karabakh. Israel is now a leading foreign provider of weapons to Azerbaijan and has become Azerbaijan's "top oil customer." The two countries also have established intelligence sharing mechanisms among other areas of collaboration. The partnership between Azerbaijan and Israel is not a new phenomenon, though it dramatically deepened after the Second Karabakh War in 2020, policy analyst Fuad Shahbazov, who previously served as a research fellow for the Center for Strategic Studies and a senior analyst at the Center for Strategic Communications, both based in Baku, told the press. The latest war brought radical shifts to the region, however, and Iran responded to the conflict by mobilizing its forces near its borders with Armenia and Azerbaijan. The Islamic Republic hosted large-scale military exercises on this frontier in 2021 and 2022 as well. Azerbaijan, for its part, did not take a step back, but instead began openly and loudly praising the defense partnership with Israel in state media, as Israel is one of the few countries that supplies Azerbaijan with sophisticated and modern defense technology, Shahbazov said. Therefore, Baku values Israel's partnership a lot and sees it as a counterweight to Iranian threats, he added, pointing out intelligence exchanges between Azerbaijan and Israel. In fact, after the 2020 conflict, Israeli companies flooded Azerbaijan to participate in the post-war reconstruction of the war-torn Karabakh, particularly in the agriculture field. For Iran, establishing ties with militias consisting largely of Shiite Muslims has been a key foreign policy strategy. Shiites constitute a majority of the population in Iran, Iraq, and Azerbaijan. The Caucasus has been a part of Iran for thousands of years, and historically, Iran is considered the host country in this region, Kazemi argued. The Caucasus is a part of Iran's civilizational, cultural, and historical domain. This connection has made Israeli inroads particularly sensitive. For the Islamic Republic of Iran, we should not allow the Caucasus region to become a ground for rivalry between others. Otherwise, the stability and security of every single country will be jeopardized. Iranian Defense Minister Brigadier General Mohammad Reza Ashtiani said while hosting Armenian counterpart Surin Papakian. Second Israel. Meanwhile, warming ties between Azerbaijan and Israel have stoked concerns in Iran over the establishment of a Second Israel in the Caucasus. Second Israel. The term has traditionally applied to another neighboring region of concern. For Tehran, Iraq's semi-autonomous Kurdistan regional government area, mostly recently in January with the targeting of alleged Israeli spy headquarters in Erbil. Like Iraq, Syria, and Turkey, Iran hosts a substantial Kurdish population along with Kurdish groups who seek to establish an independent state. Was once labeled as Second ISIL before Azerbaijan by Newsweek. This time, Kazemi asserted that the Republic of Azerbaijan has always held a special allure for the Israeli regime given its Shia majority population, strategic location as a buffer between Iran and Russia, and its vast energy resources. Authorities in Israel have repeatedly referred to the Republic of Azerbaijan as the second homeland of the Jews, which, of course, is historically groundless. With no shortage of pressure points in the Azerbaijan-Iran relationship, the cooperation between Azerbaijan and Israel only exacerbates distrust between Baku and Tehran. It's worth noting that cooperation alone does not necessarily imply Azerbaijan acting as an Israeli proxy. Therefore, in the current context, a pragmatic partnership between Tehran and Azerbaijan remains feasible, although Baku's relations with Israel will likely continue to be viewed as a negative factor for its development. Maintaining positive relations with Baku is essential for Tehran, as a substantial portion of cargo between Russia and Iran passes through Azerbaijan, Smagin said. The establishment of the Aras corridor further enhances opportunities for Russian-Iranian trade relations and the future development of the Insk